Hi learners, in this video I'm going to talk about the meaning of business and the characteristics of business. Business basically refers to the economic system in which goods and services are exchanged either for one another or money. In the primitive era when currency notes were not in existence, the one goods used to be exchanged for another goods. Okay, it was called as barter system. But now goods are exchanged for currency also. So therefore, business is an economic activity which is ultimately involved or engaged in manufacturing or production of goods and rendering of services, basically to earn profits. So we can also tell that business comprises of all profit-seeking activities and enterprises that provides goods and services which is necessary for an economic system. Now, business is also helps in fostering the economic development of any nation, and therefore it is also called as an economic pulse of a nation. Now, the reason why it is called as an economic pulse of a nation is because business helps any country to achieve a number of advantages, like it helps in generation of employment opportunities, it helps in increasing the capital formation in a country, or it helps in mobilizing of capital, it helps in putting the capital which is mobilized into productive use, and ultimately it increases the number of goods which is manufactured in a country and the number of services rendered. This increase in the number of goods manufactured and services rendered also increases the national income, which ultimately contributes to the economic development of any nation. Therefore, business is also called as the economic pulse of a nation because it helps a country in achieving economic development. Now, moving on to the characteristics of business. First characteristics is the business is an economic activity which is engaged in production of goods and also rendering of services. Now, basically, business provides employment opportunities in different sectors like banking, insurance, and it is therefore it is an economic activity which is concerned with the creation of utilities or manufacturing of goods for the satisfaction of human wants. And ultimately, the objective of any business is basically to make profits. Therefore, it is also an economic activity. Next, objective of characteristics of business is buying and selling. Now, the basic activity of any business is trading. So, business involves buying of raw materials and other, buying of machinery, and then ultimately using this raw materials to manufacture finished goods to the and sell it to the customers. So, basically, business involves it is a buying and selling activity. Next is business. It is a continuous process. Now, business is not a one-time activity. It is a continuous process of manufacturing goods and rendering of services. A single transaction, okay, cannot be termed as business. So, in order for any activity to be called out as business, it has to be continuously carried down. Next, characteristics of business is profit motive. Profit is a primary reason for conducting of most of the business activities, and it is basically called profit is called as return on investments, and profit acts as a driving force behind all the business activities. Profit is basically excess of income over the expenses. And profit is required by business not only for its survival but also for its growth and expansion prospects. Next is risk and uncertainties. Now, the business environment is filled with risk and uncertainties. Now, uncertainties and risk are basically, or risk can be basically classified into two types: insurable risk and non-insurable risk. Insurable risks are those which are predictable risks, okay, like changes in customer needs and wants. Whereas non-insurable risks are those which are unpredictable, like the sudden pandemic of COVID-19 has caused turbulences in many businesses. It has put a stoppage to many business activities. Okay, so basically business is filled with risk and uncertainties. Next is business involves a lot of creative and dynamic activities. Now, in any business arena, we find that there is cutthroat competition. Too many competitors are there in the market. So, if for the survival of any business, the entrepreneur should always think of coming out with new and innovative ideas or new and innovative products. So, business is a activity which fosters creativity and innovation, and it is also dynamic because the business environment keeps on changing, and with the changing environment the business activities also have to match up the pace. So therefore it is dynamic, it is not static, it does not remain the same. The business activities keeps on changing. Next is customer satisfaction. Now, every customer satisfaction refers to ultimately how satisfied the customers are after the use, after using the products which is rendered by the business activity, or after availing the services which is rendered by the business activity. The survival of any business depends on how well the customers are satisfied, because only when the customers are satisfied with the products and services will they opt for repeat purchases. So therefore, every business activity ultimately aims at achieving customer satisfaction. And lastly, business is a social activity. Okay, so business, we can also tell it is a socio-economic activity. On one side, it aims at generation of profits, and on the other side, it also aims at discharging its social responsibility towards the society. So business has, since the business operates in a society, it has some responsibility towards the society also. And therefore, in order to discharge its responsibility towards the society, the business needs to take care, needs to support and take care of interest of various groups of the society, like its investors, employees, and the like, by making sure that goods are available to various sections of the society. Now, business is also called as a social activity because it ultimately manufactures goods and services for the society. And by manufacturing good quality products and services, it also helps in improving the standard of living of the society. So, these are some of the characteristics of business.